In a city of highly acclaimed and skillful political leaders, Seth Williams made history winning his elected office and is one of the most dynamic and innovative district attorneys the city has ever had. He spoke of his major priorities and turning points for children.
I recognize I have to do all that I can in both my personal life in raising my daughters, Taylor, Hope, and Alicia, but also in my professional life as the elected district attorney of the 5th largest city of America, to do all that I can to prevent crime, to do all that I can to protect children. It's the least that I can do as the beneficiary of such a loving household and the hard work of Turning Points for Children. It's one of the reasons I initiated a special truancy district attorney, because I know firsthand that early support and sometimes intervention pays huge dividends for our city and its children, and of course, our society at large. I recognize that I am who I am because of the grace of God. I was given up for adoption at birth, and I was adopted by a wonderful family, Rufus and Imelda Williams. And that made all the difference in my life. I've come to learn later that the majority of children placed into foster care during their lives end up homeless, which is just a staggering and unfortunate statistic. And so I'm just the beneficiary of a loving couple that wanted a kid and sacrificed to send me to the best schools that they could, made sure that I played Little League baseball and did all the things that we hope kids will do, and gave me the greatest foundation that I could hope for. So again, I'm not here because of my own hard work necessarily. My father would say that he gave me the right start, but I had to finish it. But I'm very appreciative of the family that I was adopted by. Yeah, so I am in many ways the social worker, truancy officer, school teacher of last resort. And as the district attorney, I deal with all of the failings of our society. And so that's why I spend such a considerable percentage of my time talking to kids about hope for a better future, and that they have to stay in school. That the #1 thing people have in common that get arrested in Philadelphia is they didn't finish high school. That high school dropouts are 8 times more likely to go to state prison than a high school graduate. I talk to them about conflict resolution. So I do all these things talking to kids just to reinforce what someone should have told them, but far too many kids aren't told. And so I think that my job really is one of crime prevention, which is much more important than mere excellence in crime prosecution. I serve on this national board called Fight Crime, Invest in Kids. And research shows that every dollar invested in early childhood education saves us $7 on state prison costs, which doesn't even include the cost of victimization and the crimes that are committed by people. So I really believe that we have to do all we can to prevent crime. And so, I see it as a full circle in some ways, from my parents, going out of their way to give me a good home. I think I owe it to other kids to do the best that I can for them. My father, amongst everything, I think the #1 thing they used to teach me almost every night in some way would weave it into the conversation at dinner was that unless you're willing to be a part of the solution, you forfeit your right to complain. I'm just very fortunate that the precursor to Turning Points for Children, the Philadelphia Children's Aid Society, had such a positive impact on my life. But I know that Turning Points for Children does a lot of other amazing things to help kids today. They do a lot of wonderful things, and I'm a part of that. They have a wonderful program every summer to try to employ as many kids as possible with summer work programs. And I go everywhere. I spoke at the Chamber of Commerce. I'll speak to anybody to explain to them the value of exposing kids, even on a volunteer basis, to being in the workplace, to see what it means to pull your pants up, wear a belt, to show up on time, to be responsible to other people. Many children, they're never exposed to that. and given the opportunity to be exposed, would want to replicate, would want to do those things, would have aspirations of being in that boardroom. And so, I go wherever they ask me to go to support the hard work of Turning Points for Children, because I know the value of what it meant to me and what it can mean for so many other children here in Philadelphia.